Everybody, welcome to Kingdom of Honor Does Pop Culture. I am your host, Zanman Shane Sabuni, along with my good buddy, the Honorable Jeff.
Hello.
And we're here today to talk about the latest from the Conjuring universe, James Wan.
And
directing this one.
Insidious and Saw and the great James Wan.
Yes. And I thought this one was a bit different than his usual fare, Jeff, in the sense
Yeah, I
that
did too.
it was almost like James Wan did what the best of his stuff, but also mixed with the best of M. Night Shyamalan. You know,
Mhm.
where you really had to pay close attention to what was going on, and then there was a twist that kind of changed everything on its head that you've been seeing the entire rest of the entire first like hour and 10 minutes of the movie was kind of turned on its head in the last 35 minutes or so.
Yeah, it was. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 73. IMDb has it 6.3 out of 10. I'd say those are about right.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
I would say probably about 7.5 out of 10 for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love it. I knowing James Wan, I expected the creep factor right from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't get it. We got that opening scene, which was like, what the hell's going on? Who's this Gabriel dude? And then all of a sudden we switched to this pregnant chick. And there was no rhyme or reason. I spent the first hour of the movie going, what the hell is happening? What is going on? It
Right.
made no sense to me. And then, when you got the reveal with about 30 minutes left, then it was like, okay, now it's a James Wan movie. But
This is a movie that I feel is going to watch better on a rewatch than it did on the initial one, because then you kind of know, because then you can, like, on the rewatch you can kind of see like where all the puzzle pieces fit in together and all that kind of stuff better.
well,
I think.
and the part that kind of bugged me, especially when you got to and now that you say M. Night Shyamalan, it makes a whole lot more sense. But in the very beginning, when Maddie came out to check on her husband, I think her husband, right? And Gabriel attacked her. It set a whole different expectation to what I was expecting than what we ended up getting.
Right. That was a bit. I don't know. I mean, because how could Gabriel actually like, attack her? So I mean, it must have been like a psychological, right? Where he, and that's part of his powers. He could make her see what he wants her to see. That's what that was.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because he made her think she was doing laundry. He made her think she was sleeping. When in reality she was there. But I don't know. It wasn't what I expected.
No,
it wasn't
what I
horrible.
it wasn't what we've come to expect from James Wan. Like you said, it didn't have that same creep factor as far as like like jumps like we're used to, or it did have kind of like a freakiness to it, but not really it's not the usual James Wan style.
I mean, it felt like a serial killer cop flick for about 90% of it before it really turned into a James Wan movie. I'd say about 75% of it.
Okay, it was like 90% is pretty high.
Yeah, I'd say about 75%, because that last half hour is where it really turned into, okay, this is what I was expecting. The hour and a half leading up to that was like, I literally spent most of the movie going, what the hell is happening?
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Is this really directed by James Wan? Can't be.
No, I get that. And that's why it's another reason why I feel like watching this a second time, I think it might be a better experience.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly. Yeah, I really did not like the whole like the sister. I can't remember her name is off the top of my head, but like the whole like, oh, it's Krakoa this, Krakoa that. It's like,
right.
Why the hell are you calling him Krakoa? He's a detective, and all the other shit.
Right.
Stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
There was, I don't know. Like I said, it seemed it was very, very close to being like, I can't remember the name of it, Jennifer 8. That type of movie where it's just some serial killer cop movie.
Little bit, yeah, yeah, and yeah. So it wasn't great, but it was good. I mean, it wasn't something like I felt like I wasted my time watching. So that's good.
Did you ever watch Reminiscence?
No.
All right, yeah, that turned out to be a lot better than I thought it was going to be. When I first started watching it, it seemed like a post-apocalyptic love story, and then it actually turned into a decent thriller, decent little murder mystery.
Well, that's good. No, we when we
So
had to say we're gonna skip it and do this instead, and I didn't have a ton of time. I just like, okay, well, I won't bother with Reminiscence then.
well, if you get a chance, go back and watch it. It's definitely worth a watch. I mean, I don't have much to say about this. I thought I was gonna enjoy it and want to blab about it for a half an hour, but there really wasn't much until the last 35 minutes. There really wasn't much to write home about. It was just
No.
weird. It was like you said, it was an M. Night Shyamalan type movie, which
Yeah.
was, you know, I mean, and spoiler alerts, they started the movie with with a doctor in I'm assuming an asylum somewhere. And they're discussing
Well, no,
Gabriel.
no, no, it wasn't an asylum. They were trying to figure out how to they were so they had taken custody of um Emily, and they were trying to figure out how to treat her, and then eventually they decided they excised um him out of her as much as they could. Gabriel out of
Right.
Emily as much as they could.
And what Gabriel was is a conjoined twin. They were joined at the brain, basically.
Right.
And Gabriel kept getting stronger and stronger and overtaking Emily. And by the by, we didn't know it was Emily until the last 35 minutes. We thought it was a whole different set of people. So we get done with this whole scene in the beginning. The doctor yelling, "We got to cut the cancer out," after she talks about Gabriel for a while. And then we see these pink unicorn socks, purple unicorn socks, as they're dragging Gabriel away. So it was like, okay. And then we cut to a pregnant lady getting out of a car, getting into an altercation with her abusive husband. We learn a little bit about miscarriages and how she's had 3 of them. We go on this whole detective story where they're investigating the murder of her husband, and she becomes the prime suspect, and it's literally just a cop movie at this point. And then she starts seeing visions where she's seeing this Gabriel killing the doctors and the orderly, the doctor and the orderly from the original, from the very first scene. And then we find out, because they track down her birth mother, or were they tracking down her birth mother, or did they go back to her? I'm trying to figure out how
they were tracking down her birth.
But they ended up going back to her adopted mother's house, her sister's mother. And we started getting some flashbacks, and we're thinking Gabriel is just her like imaginary friend, and then we find out that Gabriel is actually her conjoined twin, who is just an evil psychopath
And takes possession of her body. Yes.
Who took possession of her body and was awakened because her husband threw her into a wall and bashed her brain, which is where Gabriel was stored, because he wasn't there anymore, but he was there. It made no sense. So I mean, that's the gist of the movie.
It is. Yep. So so if her husband had not gotten pissed off and slammed her head to the back of the door, back of the wall, there would have been no movie.
There would have been no movie. Nope, no movie at all. And the other thing too is the ending scene was just her hugging her sister and them crying.
Yep.
She doesn't have to answer for murdering 3 people.
Well, you got to. We don't get to see that part of it. 3 people. Three people. She killed like an entire police station as well.
That's right. She took out all the inmates and then the cops too.
Yeah. So I mean,
So
we're talking roughly upwards of 50 or upwards of 30 people at least, right?
and she saved the day though because she locked Gabriel in her mind.
Yep.
So
Her head just completely healed itself up when she did that. So
yep. So it was, like I said, it for what it was decent. I don't know that if I'd even waste my time watching it a second time, to be honest with you.
I also wanted to say that the very first death in the movie, I'm kind of like I was kind of rooting for I was kind of rooting for Gabriel at that point, or who I didn't know was Gabriel at the time, but I was kind of rooting for the killer because the husband was such an asshole. He deserved to die.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then he had, and that's the part that threw me, and I can see where the M. Night Shyamalan portion of it comes in, because that at that point when he attacked her, that threw me to a point where I had no clue what was going on. Like I said, I spent the first hour, half of it going, what is going on? What's happening? I don't get it. But here's what it is.
I just think like when a guy says to a woman, "Why don't you stop getting pregnant?" He's the one fucking her. That's a
Right.
That kind of like right there is like you should not exist, dude.
Well, he wanted her to get pregnant. He wanted to have a kid.
Yeah, but no, but he said to her, "Why don't you stop getting? Maybe you should stop getting pregnant." He said that.
Oh, yeah, it's true. He did. Yeah. I don't know. Have you, like I said, I don't have much to say about this one. Probably already talked more about it than I really wanted to.
You and I, you and I watched. Well, I watched, most of it. You watched all of it of In the Heights, and
Oof,
and I wanted to let you know that my nieces thought that was a great movie. So maybe we just want the target audience for it.
How old are your nieces?
They are 18 and 20, or I'm sorry, 19 and 20. So
And girls, and they're girls,
and girls,
so they
and
were.
they're girls. Yeah.
So they were happy about the cute guy rapping throughout the entire movie, and the good songs and everything. And like I said, that movie, it's really sad knowing how much I hate musicals in general, to say that the best part of the movie was the actual singing.
Yeah. They're like young girls that like pop artists and rap and hip hop and that kind of stuff. So it kind of makes more sense that they would like that. So they're probably more the target audience than we were. So I just wanted to let you know that maybe we just weren't the right people for that movie.
Well, I mean, it's rated high. There's a lot of people that love it. It
Yeah.
just wasn't my cup of tea, and the story itself was brutal. The fact that his whole mission was to move back to his native land, and in the end he just decided not to, for really no reason other than somebody built a mural for him.
Well, you got to see with this girl too, right?
Yeah, because she drew a mural on his store wall.
Yeah.
So
that's how most people think.
Yeah, I mean, the ratings on this, we were definitely not the right audience, because 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.4% on IMDb, 81% of the people liked the movie. So we are that other 19%. Yeah, we were definitely not the target audience for that.
What do we have coming up next?
Not really sure. Hey, you know what? The Suicide Squad got 91%.
Good.
86% of the people liked it. Let's see what Space Jam did, because I liked Space Jam probably a lot more than I should have. It was just a fun movie. That one, 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. All right, never mind.
Let's see, we have Cry Macho coming up next weekend.
Oof.
That's the Clint Eastwood one.
People do not like Reminiscence. I enjoyed it a little. more towards the end.
And did you see that Dune is like getting like brutal reviews?
You
Yeah, they're coming up
know,
in about a month.
it was a horrible movie, horrible 4.5 hour movie in the 80s. I'm interested in it just to kind of see how they can update it and make it watchable. But people
Was it really
hated it in
four
the
and a half?
80s.
Wait, 4.5 hours? Really? Was it
Oh my
that long?
God, it felt it. If it wasn't, it sure as hell felt like it.
Dune, 1984. Let's see, what is the running? 3 hours and 10 minutes. You're not too far off.
Yeah, it was long. And it only got 49%. It actually outperformed Reminiscence and Space Jam on Rotten Tomatoes, the original.
And this one is 2 hours and 35 minutes. The new
That
Dune is
sounds
2
a
hours
little
and 35 minutes. So 25 minutes shorter. Or no, 35 minutes shorter.
Oh, and it's got Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa and Rebecca Ferguson, who I just saw as May in Reminiscence.
Yes, you may have.
Yeah, her name is May in, and I thought she was really good, kind of a British actress.
Oscar Isaac and Stellan Skarsgård also. So, yeah, decent
It's
cast there.
got a hell of a cast. It's getting 86% on Rotten Tomatoes of the people that have seen it.
I just know that I've seen a couple of reviews that both said it was a brutal movie, but
Well,
whatever.
I mean, we talked about it with wrestling. Is everybody's got negatives about everything nowadays. Nobody can enjoy things anymore. They all have to be the smartest guy in the room who's breaking everything down. Josh Brolin's in it too.
Yeah, you know what? I was actually listening to a review of All Out today, and one guy like had a critique for every single match. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
It's because people have to. Nobody can enjoy anything anymore. They have to be the next Dave Meltzer. They have to be the next who are the film critics from back in the day that we used to watch on Channel 8 or whatever.
Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah, Siskel and Ebert. They've got to be the next one of those guys. So they feel like the only way they can do that is by picking apart everything. So it's just getting terrible listening to people and the way there's just so much negativity with everything nowadays.
Yeah. So I know you gotta go. Anything else you wanted to add before we sign off for today?
I wanted, because we haven't really talked about it at all, but I'm really enjoying What If. I haven't seen this Friday's yet, which is a zombie one, but the 4 that I've seen, I've really enjoyed.
I haven't seen the last couple of them yet. So
The Doctor Strange one was a really interesting take on it. Really interesting show. And the thing too is I remember saying to you after the third one where they were killing off the Avengers, that I didn't feel like Hawkeye was Jeremy Renner. Turns out a lot of the characters that are being voiced and cast, even though they're looking kind of like their MCU counterparts, are not voiced by their actors. Dave Bautista wasn't the voice of Drax. Of course, like Chris Evans, Natasha, or Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr., they're not doing their characters. Those are all different voice actors.
no, I knew that, but they're still drawing them. They're still drawing them look similar.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't. I didn't see Jeremy Renner when I was watching that Hawkeye one.
You were looking very closely then.
Yeah.
I don't think Scarlett Johansson will be doing anything with Disney in the near future. So
Yeah, and I mean, they've got some decent ones coming out. The Hawkeye series, and what was the other one? There's one more series too.
they have Moon Knight is planned for sometime. Although I'm getting less and less excited about that one because I really don't
For which one?
like the Moon Knight. I was so excited about that when they cast Oscar Isaac in the lead role, and it irritates me. Why do you have to have a Disney actor in a Marvel role? It's just dumb.
Well, they're starting to do the crossovers with the Marvel people in Star Wars. It's because it's all owned by Disney.
No, I think it's dumb. There's also the invasion, the Skrull invasion they're gonna be doing. I think they've announced now a Daredevil Man Without Fear series.
Oh, okay.
They're doing She-Hulk. They're doing Ms. Marvel. They're doing a second season of Falcon and the Winter Soldier called Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Yeah, so they've got quite a few in the pipeline. Second season of Loki.
We've got a couple of movies coming out for the remainder of the year.
One came out just last week.
Yeah, Shang-Chi came out last week, which is good because we might actually get the 10 Rings story now.
Well, it's called Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, so.
Oh, well, yeah, then there you go.
Black Widow should be coming on Disney Plus pretty soon too, right?
I think they said 60 days after the initial release is when you're going to be able to start watching. Remember, Disney Plus does that crap where they you can pre-watch it for 60 or 90 days for an extra $24.99, like they did with the Natasha Romanoff movie.
It will be available for free on Disney Plus October 6, 2020.
All right, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
30 days,
I'm not.
60 days,
I'm not paying $30 to see it on Disney Plus.
Is the I can't think of her name. The Natasha Romanoff movie, is that free yet?
Black Widow?
Black Widow. Yeah.
No, I just said October 6th.
Oh, I thought you were talking about I thought you were talking about Shang-Chi. Sorry.
No, Black Widow. And this article is saying 91 days after it's released in theaters, which would put Shang-Chi at like December 4th.
December. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this? All Hail the King? Oh. What?
Who, Minoru Suzuki?
No, locked up in prison, infamous icon Trevor Slattery agrees to meet with a documentary filmmaker. What the hell does that have to do with Marvel?
I don't know.
After the events of Iron Man 3, Trevor Slattery is an infamous icon. He is also locked up in a high security prison. Yeah, because Trevor Slattery played Mandarin.
Oh.
Yeah, he was the fake Mandarin.
Gotcha. Well.
So that's at least where the tie-in was. But I don't understand why I need to watch that. It's only 13 minutes. Maybe I'll watch it. But all right, so yeah, that's kind of all I have.
All right, guys. So thanks so much for watching. Until next time, this is Shane saying on days, pleasant nights, and Jeff saying
goodbye.